This is not just a story of betrayal. This is a story of silent glances, broken sentences, and finally, a silent separation in a dark hotel room. There was a man. He had given a man 17 years. Children, family, everyday life. And one day, a bottle of medicine he brought from the pharmacy silently slapped the whole truth in the face. If you've ever felt alone in a relationship, if you've had moments where you said, "No, is that really how I feel?" this story will sound familiar. I used to believe that if you paid attention, really paid attention, you could always see the cracks before something broke. You'd spot the shift in tone, the hesitation before an answer, the way someone's eyes avoided yours for a second too long. I thought love was a thing you could feel slipping, like water between your fingers, and that if you were fast enough, if you squeezed hard enough, maybe you could hold on. But I missed it. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I saw it coming and just chose not to believe it. It started with the hotel receipts. Just little digital breadcrumbs she never thought I'd find. I was away on 2 work trips that month, both times gone for just a few days. Enough for the kids to miss me. Enough for the house to start feeling unfamiliar when I got back. The first time, I brushed off my unease as homesickness. The second time, it sank its teeth in. She was always good at acting normal. Casual smiles, rushed kisses as she wrangled the kids in the morning. But there were signs, small things. The way she locked her phone when I entered a room, or how she started sleeping with her back to me, claiming she needed space to breathe. So I followed the trail hotel charges tucked between grocery transactions, lift rides to places that didn't make sense. I confronted her on a Sunday, not with anger, but with a quiet dread curling in my stomach, like a storm waiting to break. She didn't even try to deny it. "It happened," she said, her voice flat. "It's not ongoing. It was a mistake." Her boss. Of course. I should have left then. I should have walked out and never looked back. But instead, I heard myself suggesting therapy. Maybe, I thought, this could be salvaged. 17 years together. 2 kids. A life so entangled it felt like we shared a single nervous system. You don't just sever that overnight. Maybe, if we dug deep, bled together through the work, something could be rebuilt. I told myself that I wasn't weak for trying, that it was strength, not desperation. By Tuesday night, I was already beginning to question that decision. Still, I kept going through the motions. I drove to the pharmacy after dinner to pick up my prescription and hers, just like I'd done 100 times before. The kids had gone to bed early, and the silence in the car felt like a vacuum, every streetlight a flicker in some liminal dream. When I handed the pharmacist both names, she paused. "She's not with you?" the woman asked, peering over the counter. "No," I said, confused. "Why?" "Oh, just nothing. Never mind." She scanned the bags with a forced smile and handed them to me. Back in the car, I sat there for a minute. Something felt off. I glanced at her prescription. The name meant nothing to me, so I searched it. The screen loaded, and my stomach dropped. It wasn't Plan B. It wasn't precautionary. It was the kind of medication you take when you're already pregnant and want to make sure you're not anymore. I stared at the glowing screen, my heart beating so hard I could hear it in my ears. My hands shook. I was afraid to think the thought, forming in my head, but it was too late. It was already there, blooming like rot. I confronted her the moment I walked in. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone, like it was any other night. "What is this?" I asked, tossing the bottle down on the coffee table. She looked at it, then up at me, her face a practice mask. "Oh," she said. "I figured I should, just in case. It's for us." "For us?" I repeated, choking on the words. "You mean, after you cheated on me, you decided to have an abortion without telling me for us?" "It was precautionary," she said. "You don't understand." I showed her the screen, the legal restrictions in our state, the requirement of a confirmed pregnancy for a prescription. Her eyes flashed annoyance, not guilt. "I'm glad you and Google know what's best for my body," she snapped. It was like being punched without being touched. That was the moment I saw her clearly, for the first time in years. Not the version I'd constructed in my head, the loyal partner, the mother of my children, the person I'd grown old beside. I saw the manipulation, the deflection, the way she twisted everything into my failure to understand. I realized how many times I'd let her do that to me, how often I'd swallowed my instincts to keep the peace. The next few days unraveled fast. More lies, half-truths. I couldn't keep track of what was real. I went no contact with her, except for matters involving the kids. Our 4-year-old still asked when Mommy and Daddy would sleep in the same bed again. Our 6-year-old started drawing pictures of our house split in two. I didn't know what to say to them. I still don't. I've been trying to piece together who I used to be before this. Before 17 years of subtle erosion. I used to laugh more, I think. I used to trust my own thoughts. Now, I second-guess everything. Every memory. Every conversation. Was she ever really there with me? Or was I just convenient? On Friday, I start sessions with a betrayal coach. That's a real thing now. A betrayal coach. Like there's a whole industry for people like me. People broken open by the people they trusted most. I'm hoping it'll help. Or maybe I'm just looking for someone to tell me I'm not crazy. Because that's what she always made me feel. Crazy. Overreacting. Sensitive. But I'm not imagining the silence in the house now. The echo of what used to be a life together. Last night, I found myself staring at our wedding photo, tucked away in a drawer. We looked so young, so stupidly in love. I remember how tightly she held my hand that day, how she whispered that we were going to build something no one could tear down. Now I don't know what's left, or if any of it was real. And as I sit here, the kids asleep upstairs, I wonder what happens when you finally stop pretending, but the truth still doesn't make sense. Because that's where I am now. Standing at the edge of something I can't even name. And the ground is still crumbling.